Hey everybody, it's Jesse, and good morning if you're in my time zone or near there. So this is a lot earlier than I normally stream, but we all get, here at the university, we all get, pretty much everybody gets to go home at noon today because there's a big conference going on, and they need the parking spaces for the people attending the conference, so we all have to leave. So still wanted to do a stream, so we're gonna do one. It's gonna have to be a short stream though, because I knew I had a meeting at 11:30, but I had completely forgot that there was also a going away party for somebody that works here in the same building as I do at 11. So I'd like to stop into that because he's a really nice guy. So I'd like to be able to say goodbye to him before he leaves. So I was just in the middle of reviewing pull requests. So Kevin has submitted 2 pull requests. They both look really good. I've already merged one, and I was just kind of testing the second one. And this is Kevin, aka Kebian6020, in the chat. So I'm not sure if he's in the chat or not. I expect this is going to be a smaller audience since it's a totally different time, and I didn't even post it on Twitter or anything like till, I don't know, maybe a half hour ago, probably not even that long ago. So hey everybody, there are a few people in the chat. It's picking up a little bit. Okay. So I'm just gonna finish up just checking this out. I'm looking at it. There's no, I don't see any errors other than our normal errors that we get. So it's looking good. So basically what Kevin did was, the first thing he did was refactor the side nav. So there's nothing visible that happened, but behind the scenes there's a lot of code that was kind of removed, moved around, and so it makes it a lot more streamlined. And now for the letterhead, he's made it so that it's basically, let me show you the code first, I guess. Let me get rid of this and open it up again. Okay, cool. So we have the letterhead card now, and that's this component here. So basically before, remember, we had just copied and pasted everything, which was okay just to see how the layout looks, but you don't want to leave it like that. So Kevin was completely right in refactoring this into its own component. And now, let me go back to letterhead. There we go. So now, we just have, the letterhead here. And since there's not a lot of them, it's okay like this, and I probably won't make it any smaller than this, but we probably could just loop over this, and we could take these props and put them in an array, and then we could just loop over that array. So we would just do like array.map and put all the cards, in here like that. So that could be a further customization that we could do, further optimization that we could do. But I don't know, 4 is not really a big deal to me. If it were closer to like 10, then yeah, I'm gonna make an array and loop through it. Alright, so this looks good. I'm just gonna check on my other screen. I have the I'll pull this over in case you haven't seen it before. This is the pull request 10, and this is just showing the difference between it. So the letterhead card is entirely new. So you see the stuff on the left hand side is how it was, And then on the right hand side, this is how it is now after the changes from the pull request. So before we didn't have it at all. Now this is in here. This all looks good. And then Letterhead has changed. So you can see, able to remove a lot of this stuff because now it's in Letterhead card. Also able to remove a lot of that, that repetition of all that markup replaced with Letterhead card. So that looks good. I'm going to merge that. Also, let me paste in the address for the ngrok server. So I'm going to paste that into the live chat, and let me bring it over in case you can't see what's in the live chat. It's this highlighted bit right here. If you can see the site as we're working on it and inspect it with DevTools, and a lot nicer than having to wait for me to click on something for you to check it out. Also, I do have the stream open on Instagram as well. So let's get started. And okay, I just checked the live chat. So Taylor asked, just 31 persons here. Yeah, it's just because it's such a different time than I normally do. And I didn't give a lot of notice with either the YouTube alert or with my Twitter, my tweet about it. All right, Xana has to go. She's going on a trip and she's got to prepare. So thanks for checking in. Have a great time on your trip. Okay, let's get started. So hopefully now, if you want to see this, you've gotten that. Now we're going to merge this in. So I've actually merged the master branch into this branch that I pulled down for testing, which is the pull request 10. So I've already merged into that just to test it with everything and make sure it all works properly. And I do want to double check one more thing before I merge this. And that was the side nav. So I want to make sure I was afraid of that this might be the case. Let me jump back. Okay, on my other screen, I'm comparing that last. I just wanted to make sure that when I did the merge that nothing got messed up with the last pull request, number 9, that I had merged in. And so I'm just wanting to check what it should have looked like. So let me look at, this is side nav. Yeah, let me view this just to see. Okay, maybe it is all right. I thought I'd seen something that didn't look right, but right now that I'm comparing it, it looks about the same as it should. Yeah. Okay, cool. Everything looks good. So I'm gonna check out master branch. I'm just gonna do like a basic merge. I know we tried out different ways to merge things in a previous stream. What's this branch? Letterhead. I'm just gonna do really basic merge here and not go through. So there's basically, the reason I said that is there's a lot of options for how you merge and what happens when the merge goes in. So, the most basic is just merge. But there's a lot of other things you can do with that. All right. Also, another thing that was added in pull request 10 from Kevin was that the random images, in fact, they're random, for each card now, which I had mentioned yesterday that I like that, and that's really cool. Also, this is fixed. So before we had uneven spacing. So between the first two cards, we had no padding at all. Then we had a pretty good amount here, probably double what this is, and then no padding again. So now that problem is fixed. So it's looking good. Let's move on now. And what we're going to do is share a story. Yeah, this is where we left off yesterday with share a story. And I'll bring up, let me log in here and show you. Oh, I forgot to tell you all what happened. So yesterday I left you all and I had to go check out somebody's computer. So it turns out the problem, so basically the person could not access my website. He was saying that there was just a blank screen. And this had been going on like for a long time, and other people from the IT department had tried to check it out and couldn't figure out what was going on. So my suspicion was correct. I suspected that he was just using an old browser, and he was. He was trying to open it in Internet Explorer 9 and didn't realize it. So, the user was, basically not, he's not really into computers, so he didn't realize what was happening, but he assumed that it was opening the link automatically in Chrome, because that's what he normally used, but the default browser on his machine was set to Internet Explorer 9. So there was a lot of confusion, I think, from that, because he was, saying and thinking that it was in Chrome where it should have worked, not realizing that it was Internet Explorer 9. And some people had checked out his computer before and told him that his browsers were up to date. So he assumed they were up to date as well. So I don't know if they just meant Chrome is up to date and didn't bother with Internet Explorer because they didn't think anybody would use it. But in reality, like Internet Explorer 9, that's pretty old. I believe that came out in 2011. So really old. So anyway, I was a little bit. I'm relieved that it wasn't my project. It wasn't my fault. But I feel bad for this person, because there was important information that was being conveyed through that site, and he couldn't get it. And for months he hasn't been able to get it. And so I feel really bad about it. And he was legitimately angry about the situation, and I can't blame him. I just wish he hadn't been angry at me, since it wasn't really my fault. But in reality, based on everything that he was seeing and been told, it seemed like it was my issue. So in fact, he'd actually been told by other people that it was on my end. It was my issue. So anyway, I can't be mad at him. I was a little bit upset about the whole situation in general, of like, why do we still have Internet Explorer 9 on computers and here. So anyway, but now I'm over it, and I was mad for a little bit, but now I'm cool. So anyway, just wanted to say that, because I know you all had, some of you had said at the end of yesterday's stream that you wanted the update. So there's the update. Wow, Patrick says in the live chat, end of support for Internet Explorer 9 was 1.5 years ago. Wow. Okay. I did forward on, so I wrote several emails to various people about what happened, and I'm trying to get the browsers updated, or like at the very least, I wouldn't care if they just deleted Internet Explorer off everybody's computers. That would be fine with me too, because why would you need it? Everybody seems to have Chrome on campus anyway. So anyway, it's not really, you know, my department's responsibility or my call at all. I don't actually have any access to update anyone's browser, even if I wanted to. So I can't really fix that, but hopefully, you know, we'll be able to get that fixed at some point, because this is not the only time that's happened. Somebody was using a really old version of Safari once, and that's why my site didn't work. Some people continually try to log in with Firefox 3 from somewhere on campus, and I can't figure out who it is, because my error tracking setup for that site also tells me their email addresses, but the code can't even run the part where it grabs their email address, so it gets held up even before that. So I can get an IP address, but I don't have any ability to figure out whose IP that is. So anyway, enough of that. Hopefully I won't have to handle too many of those situations again. And oops, not that form. We want to go to suggest a story form. Okay, so for this form, we're just going to have some paragraphs and some form elements. We decided yesterday that we were not going to put this on a card. We're going to try to put it, you know, directly onto the paper, and we're going to make this font a larger size, and we'll see how that looks. So let me move this off to the other screen, and first things first, let's just make a container. Where are we at? The story, that's what I named it. Okay, so let's copy some of the markup over from, let's see, is it posters? Letterhead would actually be good to copy it from, because we have some p tags up at the top of Letterhead, just like we'll have with this. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this whole container, and then we'll remove what we don't need. But this will save us a little bit of time typing. Okay, now we don't need to see that. And we can get rid of this. And I'm just going to leave these paragraphs here because that's fine for now. I know how paragraphs are going to act. What I'm really worried about, though, is I want to make sure that we get the right font size here. So I am going to pull in from Materialize the responsive font. So let's see if we still have this open. I think we do. Yep. So we still have our Materialize CSS file open from their GitHub repo. So I'm going to find the font. So it's flow text. It's not a font. This is just the font weight. So you could see, or I'm sorry, not the font. Well, I guess it does set the font weight, but the font size. So you can see at different screen sizes, the font size will change. So there's a bunch of media queries. So obviously, like, I'm not going to spend my time rewriting all these media queries, right? So we're just going to take this and put this in our CSS file. Oops. And I'm just going to take this for now. It might be helpful to have some of these other kind of helper classes at some point, but I'd rather bring in what I need, because sometimes at the end of the project you never go back in and remove all the stuff you don't need. So I'm not going to copy everything in right now. I'm going to try to be a little bit more responsible about it. I know the last project there was a bit of a mess in the CSS, and I just ran out of time and didn't get to clean it up. So don't want that to happen this time. So I'm just going to put this in the, do we want to do this? Yeah, this is, I'm going to put this in a separate file. For now, I think I'd like to keep my CSS in different files. Yeah, and then that'll help keep it a little bit more clean. So let's make another file, or another, I guess I already made the style. I was thinking I'd make another directory, but I think I already made it. So I think we just need to touch source styles. Yep, that's it. And we'll name this alright, and I'm naming it flow text because that's the name of the class. So I'm immediately going to know what that is. I guess if you haven't worked with Materialize, you might not know what that is, but at least you'll know. Maybe I should change it then, because I do want people, down the road to be able to look at this and see what's going on. So we'll call it responsive text. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit more descriptive of what it is. Oops, and I almost misspelled this, so I didn't mean to say tough. I wanted to say touch. So touch is how you create a file in the command line. Okay, now we can see that we have this file. If I open up the folder here, we should have that file. What happened to it? What's that? Oops. It should be there, right? Source, styles. Oh. I just didn't see it. How did I not see that? I think I was thinking that it would have showed up green since I just added it. So that's why I didn't even bother reading it. Which I don't know why it didn't show up green. Normally, brand new files do appear as being green. So not really sure what's going on with that. But we can finally copy this in. And let's save that, and then we'll bring in, I'm probably going to end up using this. Will I use this everywhere? I won't use this everywhere. So there are going to be some pages where I won't even need this because we're not really going to have blocks of text. So I don't know that I need to pull this into every page. Let me check. Oh, I have it on the other screen. All right, so let's just check quickly because I think we can try to. Yeah, I don't actually want it on this page. I want to keep control of exactly what these sizes are on the home page. Same thing with this page and this page. Do we have text? Yeah, and yeah, the text inside of cards, I'd rather keep more control over the size, just because I do want to make sure that we have cards that are the same height, and I don't want them to be huge. If I applied the flow text stuff in the cards, they would be really big. So yeah, so some of these pages, obviously I could apply it to, but yeah. So my whole point is, I don't want to have to load CSS in places where I'm not going to use it. So here's what we're going to do. So we can see, on app.js, we're importing our styles up at the top. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it into story and change this to responsive text. Okay, now we should be able to put, I should be able to put flow class or flow text class here, and it'll just apply to all these paragraph tags. So let's see if that is the case. Ooh. Oh, okay. I see. Let me... Oops. Do you need to go out? And then back into styles? Let's try this. Okay, cool. If you didn't catch that, so initially I just had one dot, which would have meant from where this is, so from the views folder, it was trying to find within the views folder a styles folder. Okay, which obviously is not the case. Okay, so it worked when I had it like that within app.js, because app.js is here within the source folder. So what I had to do was put another dot, and that's saying go up one level, right? So go to the source folder, then try to look for the styles folder. So be aware if you're moving components into other directories within your project, that you may have to change some of this stuff depending on how you've done it, how your project's set up. So at some point we're going to make a components folder and move some things into there, and we'll have to take care of that when we do that as well. So alright, but for now it's just doing what we want. So we have this, it actually ends, it's pretty large. The font's pretty large. Now this is larger blocks of text than that we'll have. So actually, I think I'm going to bring in the real text, because I would like to see, now that we have the flow text applied, I want to see what this would really look like. So you can see it's not nearly as much. The second one's going to be a bit longer. And let's bring this in. Okay, so this is the actual text. Something just looks weird to me about this. What is wrong with this? I don't know. Does that look odd to anyone? Like it just doesn't look as nice as, maybe there's some conflicting styles between Material UI and this, that yeah, maybe that's it. Oh, maybe it's the font. Am I not? Alright, so it's saying the font family is just sans serif, which is not what I want. Maybe that's what I want it to be Roboto, which I thought Roboto was the default for Material UI. Maybe I missed a step and I have to actually pull in Roboto at some point. Let's check on that. Because I'm not really going to know if this looks good unless I see the font. Let's check out usage. I'm not seeing anything there. There's no search for this site. I wonder if it's like that with everything, if I'm not getting font family. Okay, so Roboto it's here. It's just not being applied here for some reason. Okay. I'm about halfway through the stream for today. So I do want to go to the live chat just quickly and see if there are any questions or any new people to welcome before I solve this this font problem. Oshan says his connection's really laggy, so yeah, sorry about that. Oh, okay. Patrick's saying there's more to flow text than what I'm copying. So let me check. Maybe I missed some stuff here. I mean, maybe I should pull in some of the baseline font stuff. Okay, maybe I'm missing it. Yeah, maybe I had thought that maybe the base font is different, so then all those the flow text classes and the media queries would be slightly off from what I'm used to. Bill says, have you thought of using styled components? Yes, I have thought of using the styled components, so I'm going to look into that. I would actually like to make each of the components completely self-contained, if I could. So we'll see. That could be a goal for this project, because then I'd like to be able to just reuse them. It'd be cool actually to make, like, Kevin had made the letterhead card. It would be cool to just make a card component, which, I mean, they already have the card component, so I'd have to call it something different. It couldn't be card, but basically a component that would be like, it would have the card there, but you could control everything in it just through props. And then that way I could reuse that for all my projects, just control. And what I mean by what's in it, like whether or not it has an image at the top, a title, an overlay, text, action buttons. So all of that would be in props. And maybe I'm missing something, and that's how Material UI is already set up, and trying to reinvent it here. But I think that would be really versatile, and especially since I use cards in pretty much everything that I do, that would be a component that would be awesome to make that completely self-contained with everything that it needs to render, and just be able to drop it into any project. All right, I just see Rohan asked about what the issue was yesterday with the project, and I see y'all told him that it was Internet Explorer 9. Yeah. It's terrible. Blake asks, what is Docker? Docker is like a way to like you make a container, and your program can run in that container, and you could transfer that container. So, and I mean like everything can run in, like your entire setup, the whole stack can be in this container, and it can be copied exactly onto anybody's machine no matter what they're running, and it's supposed to be able to run in exactly the same way, and you don't even have to install all the same stuff on your machine. Like if you're running something in Node and you didn't have Node installed on your machine, it wouldn't matter. If you had Docker and you downloaded the container, then you should be able to run it. So that's my understanding of Docker. I haven't used it in at least a year. I wanted to use it more, and then I just got busy with things and never felt comfortable enough with it to use it for, in production. All right, Patrick had some, and Bill had some good explanation as well for Docker. Basically saying it's like a virtual machine. Yeah, so it's like a lightweight virtual machine. Somebody, Arsenal of Color Aquatic says, "Come on, guys, thumbs up this." Yeah, cool. Give it a thumbs up if you want. I don't. I mean, it's cool when you all thumbs up that, but I don't really know if thumbs up means much in terms of anything. I don't really know how that helps, other than letting me know that you like the video. Okay, Sebastian saying, Material UI was designed with Roboto font in mind, so be sure to include it in your project. Where is that? Look over. Okay, Patrick said I did get all of the flow text stuff, so cool. So Sebastian, let me go back. So we're working on trying to get Roboto to be the font for this, which it's already being applied to like H tags, and I'm not sure why it's not being applied to these P tags. At least, inspect it again. Yeah, so you can see like on our P tags here, it's saying that our font is just sans serif. So I'm not exactly sure what the problem is and why we're not getting, on the same page. Some things have that font, some things don't. So I may just have to import the fonts in one of my main CSS files. Actually, here's the thing I'm not sure about. We can test it out, but if one of you knows, it'll save us a few minutes. If I put in different CSS files, so it's obviously importing that font, importing Roboto exists already somewhere in Material UI, and it's already being imported. If I try to import it again in another CSS file, will the browser know that and not bother bringing it in again, or will it try to bring it in twice? that sounds weird. The only, I mean, possibly if there are different locations that it was getting it from, it might think it was two different files, but right, it shouldn't try to pull it in again, right? So I know there's a delay, so it'll be a minute before you all hear that and can answer. So I guess in the meantime, just to prepare, I can look up, okay, so this font, which, about a thin, about a light, regular, medium, bold. I don't know that I need all of these. Whoops. Okay, so I rarely use bold or medium. So I'm definitely not going to use bold. It's possible that if I want something to be bolded, I'll use medium. So I will grab that because now that I think about it, there's might be some stuff that's bolded. And then I do like to use some of the thinner stuff if I can. On some monitors though, it's really hard to read the thin stuff, so it definitely has to be a large font for thin to work. So let's bring that in. Let me check the see this. Oh, okay, Sebastian says it's inherited but not using the Roboto font. Rohan says it's from the same, if it's from the same source it won't, if it's different location versions it will try. Okay. But since it's already imported, you can just use Roboto. Actually, I want to see what's being imported. Let's see what, let's check it out here. Let's see where it's coming from, or might be easier just to check here. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Whoa. That let me refresh this page. I don't want to see all that. Okay, you know what? Maybe I won't be able to see it. Okay. I do want to see though if I before I pull in all the font stuff, if I just go into this responsive text, do flow text, fonts, family, Roboto, sans serif. Are we getting Roboto now? There we go. We've got Roboto now. Okay, cool. So anyway, thanks. You said that. So I think it was something Sebastian said that made me want to do that instead. So thank you. Oh yeah, and Rohan's mentioned since the H tags are using it, it's obviously imported already. So that should be, that'll work. I mean, maybe I could put in one of the CSS files. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I just want to get this page done. But in one of the CSS files, maybe I will put just like globally, like everything gets Roboto. One of the ones that I import into the app.js file. Okay, cool. So that's it now. Like I said, I'm still not sure. I'm I'm just not sure about the size. I mean, maybe it just looks weird because on my other screen I'm looking at the really small size. So this is what I'm looking at, and it's like a huge difference. So maybe that's just the kind of the weirdness that I'm getting here. All right, but I do want to, before we end today, I want to throw in some fields, some form fields. So let's check out the fields. Where's this at? Text field. That's what I want. Okay, so which one? There we go. I want the floating label. That's what we have now. So I'll need 2 text fields and then a multi-line with the floating label. Okay. So first things first, let's import text field. Story. Oh, get that semicolon out of here. I don't care if you all use semicolons, but I just, now that I'm not using them anymore, I can't stand them. Let's see. Floating label, there we go. So let's pull that in. We're going to need to make a little container for that. So we want that to be 50% width, so we're going to give if class name, and that's going to be column 12M6. Okay, so with the column classes that we brought in from Materialize, the Materialize CSS framework, this means on small screens it's going to take up 12 columns, which means full width, and then on medium-sized screens it's only going to take up 6, so it's going to be 50% width. And then we're going to put our text field in, and we need 2 of those, so I'm going to put that there, and then we need a full width multi-line text input. And yeah, we want the floating label one. So I actually want to try, let's see. Do I want to try this? I want to try this. I'm just curious. Oops, no, I meant to put another column. Let's see how this turns out. That doesn't. I'm gonna get rid of the hint text. Obviously, I don't want the hint text. But why is this only this big? There must be some sort of max max length set. Okay, so that does stack like we want it to. So the thing I was saying I wanted to try out is not to make another row and just to put all these, and my reasoning was if I put another row it's going to add in a margin, and then it's going to look odd on small screens, so there won't be a uniform spacing between here. So that's why I did it like that, and because I had noticed that that's how Kevin did it when he refactored the Letterhead page. Alright, so let's check this out. to see if it has a max width. Or I guess just a width. Where is it getting this width from? Okay, so that's saying 100%. So at some point, it's got to be setting a width. I mean, what? Let me move this over a bit so I can just see. Okay, yeah, this, yeah, that element with here is controlling that. So let me check the docs, see if I can just change it in here, because I want it to be, like here, I do have it full width, and that's how I want it to be. Alright. Full width, there we go. Let's add full width true. I wonder if I just add it, if it'll go true. Let's see. I think it might. Yep, there we go. So that's the answer. We just have to add full width, which is awesome. So full width. And now let's check it out. Awesome. Okay, so we have our full width going on, and okay, not bad. I think on the other, as it is now on the site, it definitely has a bit more padding, but I'm not super worried about it. Okay, cool. So let's add in. Let's get rid of the hint text, and then we'll add in a button. And what time is it? And then we'll wrap things up. So here's our hint text. There we go. Cool. It's just I don't know if you all can see this, but it looks like it's just not quite as smooth. Like the animation for this bar, it's not quite as smooth as I have it. Actually, that's because on the other thing. All right, I see. So I'm not actually trying to do like the really cool animation that they have here, where it actually expands and shrinks. So that's why there's. I think I was just adding a different color and weight of border. Okay, cool. Let's find our buttons. Apply button, raise button, raise button. Yeah, this is what I want. So I just wanted to say submit, really. So just need a simple button that says submit, and we do want it to be the primary color. So let's import this button. And then we'll bring in this raised primary. Oops. And we'll put it alright. Raise button. Submit. Ooh, style is not defined. Where are we at here? Okay, we missed something then. Style, margin 12. Alright, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's just take out the style and see how it looks. And then we can put our own margins in if we need to. Okay, cool. So I actually I'm going to compare this. Okay, so this is my current effect. I don't think they're the same. Whoops. Okay, I may change how this is working because I don't like it as much as this. I'm gonna have to check the material design guidelines on this just to see, but I mean, this is, I did build this a while ago, but I'm assuming that I followed what was with materialized CSS for this effect, and you could see they're definitely different. So in terms of, I mean, yes, there's a color change and then a slight increase in the shadow to make it appear like it's coming forward. But you could see like the increase in the shadow is barely noticeable. I actually, now that I look at it, I'm not even sure that's happening. And I'm not sure. Yeah, this is happening faster, it seems. Like there's not as much of a transition. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to work on that button because it's not as satisfying hovering over that button as this button. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but realistically, like if I want to keep a consistent brand standard, then we need to have the same thing. So I'm gonna need to change how this button works then to be consistent with what we're doing across all our sites. Okay. So I think that's it. So basically this page is layout's done. Just need to change some text, work on this button a bit, and that's pretty much it. Probably didn't do like a comparison to make sure that this font size is correct. I just want to see what the base font size is for Material UI that this is going off of. Alright, let me go to the live chat. I'm going to go through quickly. And hey, one of my coworkers is in Iceland right now, and she just was watching the live chat and sent a message, said, "Hello from Iceland, glad you're working hard." So I'm not even sure if she's still watching or not, but that was cool. Alright, so I'm going to scroll up. I'll try to get through everything, but I do need, in a few minutes I'll need to end the stream. Hey, we ended up getting about 50. We're up to 49 viewers now, so that's not bad. I was a bit worried no one would watch because it was at a different time. Let me scroll down. Yeah, if you have any questions, throw them in the live chat, but I won't have a lot of time to answer, so if I can't get to them, you just send them to me on Twitter. And I will say, I know that some of you have asked me to look over your code and sent me messages, and I've just been really busy lately, so hopefully I have some time this weekend to check it out, but uh, just please be a little bit patient with me, and I'll try to get to it. Okay, let's see. Rohan says it's too much text together. So, yeah, now that it's a bigger font, it does look like it's too much text. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what to do with that. There's a good chance that some of the text will change when everybody kind of reviews this again, and so we might be able to get rid of some of that text. Rohan says, I'm partial to semicolons, just feels complete to me. I did. It was weird not using semicolons at first. It felt the same way, but now it just looks nicer without them. Prathmesh asks, hey friends, can I get a job if I do full stack developing in freeCodeCamp? Yeah, I mean, you can. There are people that have definitely gotten jobs after doing freeCodeCamp. So it just kind of depends on the quality of your work and how many places you apply to, what they're looking for. There's just so many factors that go into actually getting a job that I couldn't say for sure you're going to get a job with freeCodeCamp, but it's definitely going to help you and help you increase your skills. And the more skills you have, the better your portfolio is, the better chance that you do have of getting a job. Oh, Sebastian, I see you saw a full width before I did, so thanks for that. Sorry I didn't look over and see that. All right, Patrick says, why is the bottom field so different than the other two? Look where the blinking cursor ends up on the bottom once it's active. Yeah, it's because it's a multi-line field. That's why. So it's multi-line and it's currently set to two rows. So if I really wanted it to be uniform, I guess I could set it to one row. And I'm assuming it would expand. Actually, no, I wanna make sure that it expands. Yeah, okay, it'll expand. Yeah, I guess I don't mind that. I'm used to that, but if it'll look better, we could always just set it to initially just only have one column. I just want people to know that they can type a lot in here if they need to. Oh, and I just see Patrick already got his answer in the live chat. So thanks Sebastian for giving that answer. Nodie said, today you streamed early. Yeah, I did. I'm not going to be in the office later on when I normally stream, so I had to do an early stream. But it might not be bad. Maybe some people who, because of the time difference and things, couldn't see the later stream, maybe they can see it. So I guess that's kind of cool. Ans says, would you recommend the beta version of freeCodeCamp or the other one? And do you have any idea when the beta version will be released? I have no idea when it'll be released, and I have no recommendation one way or another because I haven't gone through the beta version yet. So I wouldn't feel comfortable giving a recommendation. I'll just say you're going to learn a lot no matter what. Um, if you're a little bit more adventurous and are going to be okay if like something's a little bit buggy, then I'd say go for the beta version. If you're the type of person that gets really mad when something doesn't work right, then stick with the regular version, because obviously it's a beta, so there's going to be things that don't work right. So that's my advice. There's some talk about my editor. It is Adam. It is the Seti theme, Seti. Yes, it does look similar to Sublime. J-Rex says, what age did you actually start working as a dev? Okay, let me think. I'm gonna have to do some math in my head here. I'll say this. I got paid to build websites when I was, I don't know, like 18 was probably the first time I ever got paid to do a website, somewhere around there. So, but I definitely didn't consider myself a developer at that time. So, I would probably say, let me think, how old am I right now? 30, I think I'm 31 right now. So I'm 31. Maybe around 28. I'd say I probably wouldn't really consider myself a dev until I was around 28. And at that point, I was freelancing. I think I was freelancing for a little while before that, but it was mostly like stuff you wouldn't really consider being a dev. Like, I don't like customizing WordPress themes. Like, basic CSS customizations to a WordPress theme, to me, I don't necessarily consider that being dev work. I didn't consider dev work when I did it before. So whenever I was doing that, I was getting paid to do website stuff, but real dev work, probably I was maybe 28, somewhere around there, give or take a year. So actually, occasionally I see people say something like, I'm already 20 years old and I don't have a job as a developer, and like they're freaking out. So uh, just don't worry about it. Don't worry, really. So yeah, okay. So Demarquee, how, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Pronounce your name. So let me know if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But Demarquee Allen says, I'm 23. With good practice, could I get where you are? Definitely, for sure. So when I was 23, I think I might have been a waiter at the time. All right, and then I taught high school. Okay, Demarcus. Okay, I was like thinking it would be like the French pronunciation, but Demarcus, cool. Sorry for mispronouncing it. So yeah, so anyway, let me give you just a brief timeline. I actually did a video explaining like my timeline on my own channel, so if you check out the link in the description of my channel, I did a video on like how I became a front-end dev. That'll give you a better idea of just like how long it took me to learn things. But basically, when I was around, let me think. So I graduated with a business degree in 2008. I couldn't find a job for like 6 months. I worked as a manager at a Burger King, and then I quit that job and I worked as a waiter at a restaurant, and then I got offered a job as a high school teacher. So I took it because it was in my hometown. I really wanted to move back, so I took that job, and I actually taught Latin and religion at a high school for almost 4 years. Then I quit that job, and I traded money on the stock market for a little while until I ran out of money. And then, so obviously I stopped doing that, and I looked for work for a couple months, couldn't find anything, And then finally I started doing website stuff. And for, I'd say, probably the first year of doing that, I would not have considered myself a dev. It was mostly like search engine optimization work, writing blogs, making minor CSS changes. So I was definitely in my late 20s before I really started to try to learn how to be a dev. So basically within the last like 3 years, maybe 4 years, I've gotten to this point. Because before that, my knowledge of development was really like basic. Yeah, no, I didn't. I did not have a formal degree. My degree is in business with a specialization in banking, finance, and economics. So, not related to web development. Although good to know. It's good to know how to handle money and run businesses and things. But yeah, so basically, my point is. I think you can definitely pick up web development and really quickly get to the point where you're good enough to make really nice sites, really good things. So for me, it actually took a couple of years, but I had kids, I had a family, I was trying to make money, so I was taking a bunch of, I was taking work doing anything. Like during that time of me learning, I was taking work doing landscaping at people's houses, painting. I'd like paint their basement. I would take work like just writing blogs and things like that. So I was taking work doing anything I could to provide for my family. So I couldn't dedicate all my time to learning. So if you did have time to dedicate to learning, you could probably learn way faster and get better than me way faster. So don't be discouraged at your current age. It's just if you have the desire and the talent and the time to put into it, you can definitely learn this stuff. I'm not saying it's easy. It takes work, but you can learn it. All right, so I'm gonna take maybe like 2 more questions, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay, I'll see. I missed this question. So Demarcus asks, and do you consider real dev work to be working from scratch? I wouldn't say from scratch, but the reason I say that about WordPress is a lot of customizations you can do in WordPress come like just through their admin interface, so you don't even interact at all with code necessarily. So that's why I kind of didn't really consider myself doing dev work. I would say you don't have to start from scratch, because really, who starts from scratch, right? Even, you set up a project, you install a bunch of node modules, and there's stuff in there that, there's already been thousands of hours of work put into, what you're doing just from your build tools alone. So no one starts from scratch, but I think the ability to go in and build a site using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, actually being able to write the code, at that point, I would say that's your developer. If you can't do that, then I don't know that I would call myself a developer. I know people have different definitions, but if I wasn't able to go in a code editor and put out a website, just with the basic markup, then I wouldn't feel comfortable calling myself a developer. So hopefully that helps. I don't want to offend anybody who does WordPress theme customization. You can make a lot of money in that, and it's definitely needed. But that's just how I felt when I was doing it. Demarcus asks, what are your thoughts on Bootstrap? Yeah, I think Bootstrap's great. I think that's a great way. It takes care of a lot of really basic stuff in CSS that, in my opinion, is a waste of time to do yourself. I mean, it may be like once just to see how it is, and I'm thinking mainly like a grid system all the different kind of things you need to make things work properly across browsers. So things like that, like nobody codes that by hand. So that's really, really useful. So I think Bootstrap is good to know. There's a lot of places use Bootstrap as well. Jay says, what resources are you using to learn this stuff? Yeah, freeCodeCamp, YouTube videos, courses on Udacity. All right, DeMarcus said, great advice, Jesse. Just subbed your channel, so thanks. I'm glad you like the advice, and thanks for subscribing to my channel as well. Yeah, I hope that helps. I thought I saw one more question that I missed, but now I can't find it. So sorry. Oh, okay, here it is. It was a question about Angular 4. Are you going to cover anything like this for Angular 4? I don't have any plans to cover Angular right now. I'm not ruling it out for the future, but I have no plans at this point to do anything with Angular. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on Monday. And it was great. Thanks for adapting to the difference in time. I appreciate y'all being so flexible. And yeah, so have a great weekend.